44 years ago today, in 1978, San Francisco, the city mayor George Moscone and an openly gay supervisor, Harvey Milk, are assassinated by former supervisor Dan White. Welcome to Nobby Down's History. Today's topic is very interesting. Why? My reason anyway, is Mr. Moscone was a man who's seen a need for a change in society. Agree or disagree with the things he did or done is not the point. The point was the need he seen in society that scared someone enough to assassinate him. Now here's Spoonie with who Mr. Moscone was.
Thank you, Chef Nobly. George Richard Moscone, November 24, 1929, November 27, 1978, was an American attorney and Democratic politician. He was the 37th mayor of San Francisco, California from January 1976 until his assassination in November 1978. He was known as the People's Mayor, who opened up City Hall and its commissions to reflect the diversity of San Francisco, appointing African Americans, Asian Americans, and homosexuals. Moscone served in the California State Senate from 1967 until becoming mayor. In the Senate, he served as majority leader. Moscone is remembered for being an advocate of civil progressivism. Nanu Nanu.
See what I mean? The people's mayor. His purpose was us as Americans are people, no matter color, creed, or gender. We are Americans. If we stand together, there is no way we can fall. Now to Spoonie with who Mr. Harvey Bernard Milk was. Godspeed.
Spoonie here. Harvey Bernard Milk, May 22, 1930, November 27, 1978, was an American politician and the first openly gay man to be elected to public office in California, as a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. Milk was born and raised in New York, where he acknowledged his homosexuality as an adolescent, but chose to pursue sexual relationships with secrecy and discretion well into his adult years. His experience in the counterculture of the 1960s caused him to shed many of his conservative views about individual freedom and the expression of sexuality. Milk moved to San Francisco in 1972 and opened a camera store. Although he had been restless, holding an assortment of jobs and moving house frequently, he settled in the Castro, a neighborhood that was experiencing a mass immigration of gay men and lesbians. He was compelled to run for city supervisor in 1973, though he encountered resistance from the existing gay political establishment. His campaign was compared to theater. He was brash, outspoken, animated, and outrageous, earning media attention and votes, although not enough to be elected. He campaigned again in the next two supervisor elections, dubbing himself the mayor of Castro Street. Voters responded enough to warrant his running for the California State Assembly as well. Taking advantage of his growing popularity, he led the gay political movement in fierce battles against anti-gay initiatives. Milk was elected city supervisor in 1977 after San Francisco reorganized its election procedures to choose representatives from neighborhoods rather than through citywide ballots. Milk served almost 11 months in office, during which he sponsored a bill banning discrimination in public accommodations, housing, and employment on the basis of sexual orientation. The supervisors passed the bill by a vote of 11-1, and it was signed into law by Mayor George Moscone. On November 27, 1978, Milk and Moscone were assassinated by Dan White, a disgruntled former city supervisor who cast the sole vote against Milk's bill. Despite his short career in politics, Milk became an icon in San Francisco and a martyr in the gay community. In 2002, Milk was called the most famous and most significant openly LGBT official ever elected in the United States. Ann Cronenberg, his final campaign manager, wrote of him, "What set Harvey apart from you or me was that he was a visionary. He imagined a righteous world inside his head and then he set about to create it for real, for all of us." Milk was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009. Back to you.
A flower child with a vision of peace and understanding is what I always took out of Mr. Milk's messages. Now on to Dan White, who was a man scared of change. Not any label, just a man really scared of change. Now to Spoonie.
Boo Dan White. Daniel James White, September 2, 1946, October 21, 1985. Was an American politician who assassinated San Francisco Mayor George Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk on Monday, November 27, 1978, at City Hall. White was convicted of manslaughter for the deaths of Milk and Moscone. White served 5 years of a 7-year prison sentence. Less than 2 years after his release, he returned to San Francisco, and later died by suicide. White was born in Long Beach, California, the second of 9 children. He was raised by Irish-American, working-class parents in the Visitation Valley neighborhood of San Francisco. He attended Archbishop Reardon High School until he was expelled for violence in his junior year. He went on to attend Woodrow Wilson High School, where he was valedictorian of his class. Alleged confession. In 1998, Frank Falzon, the homicide inspector with the San Francisco police to whom White had surrendered after the murders, said that he met with White in 1984, and that at this meeting White had confessed that he had intended to kill not only Moscone and Milk, but another supervisor, Carol Ruth Silver, as well as then member of the California State Assembly and future San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. Falzon quoted White as having said, "I was on a mission. I wanted 4 of them. Carol Ruth Silver, she was the biggest snake, and Willie Brown, he was masterminding the whole thing." Falzon indicated that he believed White, stating, "I felt like I had been hit by a sledgehammer. I found out it was a premeditated murder. There's a thin line between genius and crazy Spoonie out."
First off, I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I believe of lately in Brewster's Millions. Vote none of the above. I kid. My reason or purpose of saying this is to make you understand the importance of getting the right people into the correct position to see the positive outcome we as people all want to see. That's been Chef Knobley. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, if you don't learn from your history, you're doomed to repeat it. Manja. Nanner.